Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to bring the meeting of the Corporate Services Committee to order. Grimsby is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Adirondack, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The regional municipality of Niagara and Grimsby stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands in which we live. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary or non-pecuniary interests? Seeing none. Can I get a mover and seconder to approve the agenda? Councillor Howe, Mayor Jordan. Resolved that the agenda for November 10, 2025 Corporate Service Committee meeting be approved. All in favor? It's carried. Can I get a mover and seconder to receive the previous minutes? Mayor Jordan? Councillor Howe? Resolved that the minutes of the September 15, 2025 Corporate Services Committee meeting be received. All in favor? That's carried. There are no delegations or presentations. There are no consent reports, but we do have some discussion reports. Can I have a mover and seconder to get the use of corporate resources for election purposes policy report on the floor for discussion? Councillor Howe, Mayor Jordan. Okay. Are there any questions from the committee? Councillor Howe.
Good, hit the right button. Thank you. Through you, Chair. There was a number. I had a number of just clarification questions for myself. I sent them. I sent them off to the clerk's department on the weekend, and I've come back with all answers that make sense to me and acceptable. But there are ones that people should be aware of for some common sense, and they're going to address it, getting it out to council and to staff as well, because it comes back and mentions about that. So instead of going through them all, I'm going to let Katie and the rest of the clerks deal with it as usual.
Mayor Jordan.
Yeah, just one question I have is just on social media. If certain councillors have social media pages, but we're actually blocked from it, like how do we kind of report on that if we can't even access it? Like when it comes up to the election time, they're supposed to remain static, but if you can't see because you can't access them because you're blocked from it.
Sorry, Katie, you want to?
Like,
Yeah. Okay.
Katie or Tori, you want to respond to that? Or?
Yeah, through the chair. So what the policy speaks to is sitting members of council who choose or create or use social media accounts for campaigning must include, for the duration of the election period, a clear statement on their website or social media accounts that it's being used for election campaign purposes and is not related to their duties as a sitting council member. So during the election period, specifically between May 1st and October 26th, I believe, 2026, there would need to be a clear statement available on the election-related platforms.
Just out of curiosity, how do we segregate one from the other? I mean, it's got to be very difficult, very complicated to. I'm just thinking aloud here a little bit. I'm sure that Councillor Howe probably asked the same question. I don't know, but it is a good question, and we've been through a pretty horrendous session earlier in our term related to this same subject. So I don't know how something that's not political is political, something is political, not political. How do you decide that when whenever these things will be posted on social media? And how do you know you're blocked? I mean, I don't bother with social media anymore, to be honest with you. I mean, it's just one of those things. So I just think it's a toxic place to be.
Yeah, through the chair, so I'll take away the block side because I think it's a different situation when it comes to the election campaign pages specifically, and it is a tough policy to enforce. I always go back to the purpose, which is the section 2. The goal of this is so that you're not using municipal resources for campaign or campaign-related activities. So there is a really fine line between what's happening at council and informing electors and the candidates of what's happening at council versus campaigning about what's going to happen in the future. My personal line is there, but we have to just go with what's in this policy. It is a tough policy to enforce, for sure.
Totally agree. So are we going to have someone that's going to be monitoring this on a day-to-day basis? I mean, because it's become a full-time job. Just a comment, you don't have to respond to it, sorry.
Well, through the chair, I'll just say, typically enforcement of this policy we try to be proactive with existing council members and candidates. We'll provide them copies of this policy. That's how we be proactive. The enforcement side comes from people reporting it to us, or if we staff witness it ourselves, that's how we'll have to handle it. So did you want to, are you good? Okay. Yeah.
Maybe we
it's a
should
tough
get
one.
Henry to issue bylaw tickets. Okay, thank you.
Bylaw's coming.
Thank you. Okay. Resolve that report TC 25-20, use of corporate resources for election purposes policy dated November 10, 2025, be received, and that, number 1, the Corporate Services Committee recommend council approve the use of corporate resources purposes policy attached as Appendix A. All in favor? That's carried. Can I get a mover and seconder to get the annual Animal Control Services report on the floor for discussion? Councillor Howe, Mayor Jordan. Are there any questions from the committee to, I guess Henry is taking this. No. Councillor Howe?
I can remember back a while ago, and the mayor can probably enforce it a little bit. It used to be a lot more convoluted and confusing as to what was done, but boy, it's a much clearer process now than it used to be. And I'm going to congratulate whoever was responsible for bringing all that together, because if I can make sense out of animal control, anybody can.
Long overdue, and thank you very much for putting it together. Absolutely, yeah. Now we have a clear direction as to where we're going. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, resolve that report bylaw 2505, Animal Control Services dated November 10, 2025 be received, and number 1, that the Corporate Services Standing Committee recommend that council award the contract for animal control services to the Humane Society of Greater Niagara, and that number 2, the committee recommends the passing of the draft bylaw to amend the Town of Grimsby Animal Care and Control bylaw. All in favor? That's carried. Can I get a mover and a seconder to receive the staff memo on the provision of voting services for the 2026 municipal election? Mayor Jordan, Councillor Howe. Resolved that the staff memo on the provision of voting services for the 2026 municipal election be received for information. All in favor? And that's carried.
Just a little clarification if I can.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, and I guess it's for the clerk's department. We had some, I can remember, 3 years ago, a little bit of information, but can we get a walkthrough, with the system and understand the system? Because I was getting, a few questions, and not many, but a few questions last time. And quite frankly, I'm so used to going in and putting an X on a piece of paper, but I would like to try to understand it. Are we going to have an opportunity to actually touch and feel the equipment, what it might be like, even if it's a mock-up, and you know exactly how you go through accessing it and what to do, just in case there's any questions. Hopefully it's a lot, everybody's a lot smarter than I am, but it was, I know myself, it gets a little convoluted. So have we got it?
You want to respond to that?
Sure, through the chair, we have built-in training sessions for the public for sure, both in the training training video format, as well as I believe we have some options to engage the vendor in-person training as well. So I definitely think as we get closer to the election, we'll start doing some informing and educating on how the system works.
Any further questions or comments? Seeing none. Resolve that the staff memo on the provision for voting services for 2026 municipal election be received for information. It's all carried, sorry. We already did that already. Now we're doing it again. It's carried. Any other business? Councilor Howe?
Thank you, Chair. And I can probably be told soon enough that I'm not supposed to, but we've gone through a very comprehensive office reorganization with bringing it up to dates from when the building was first built and being able to accommodate the staff more appropriately and efficiently. But we've also not raised the subject of working remotely. We've now, I believe, got everything in place, because we did have a time when we had, a shortage of available workspaces. I believe that that's all rectified. I believe that we've got adequate work area and spaces to encourage people to come on back in. And I know it's not a large number. I know that absolutely. I know that there's times when there's people that are working on very intensive projects, reports, that they're a lot better being somewhere more isolated. I know that we've got some quiet rooms, but people know if you're in the quiet room and they can still knock on the door, whereas with those important things. But maybe we've got everybody back in or who are coming back in. But I think it just gives us a better awareness of senior staff to mentor and to pass on their knowledge and their experiences. And, so that down the road when they move on, there's going to be ample opportunity for people of training, of education, knowledge that they can move on up. But I think that we're at that point where we can consider, and it's not like using a sledgehammer like other jurisdictions do, but I think it's something that maybe can be looked at. And I'm not doing a notice of motion with whereases and all over the place. I think we can just ask the question of staff, and they can come back to us with some kind of an idea somewhere along the line. Or they may tell me that it's a moot point. So, okay, so that's that one. To continue on.
Can I make a comment on that one?
Oh, absolutely.
As the chair? I don't think that council should get involved at that level. I mean, there's the administration and management of the corporation. I think that's something that our CAO needs to do. Dealing with who works from home, who doesn't work from home, where they sit. I mean, that's not something I think that council should ever get involved in. You're getting onto the staff level now, and we don't micromanage staff. So that's my comments on that. Sorry, Councilor Howe. I don't know if the mayor or the clerk wants to comment on what I just said, but I think that's where we are with this, and I think that's we should hands off, to be honest with you. Mayor Jordan.
Thanks, through you. I just think because the CAOs, according to the municipal acts, are only employee, then it would go through the CAO. So.
All right, go ahead with your second thing.
Next, attendance. Brought it up before, I don't think we've ever dealt with it in an official standpoint.
Attendance as in staff or attendance as in
On
council?
council. Council attendance to council meetings and committee meetings. The job function as we've got it laid out, with us, the various duties that we've got, and how we should be attending to them. But we need to address it, and I think we in fairness, I think we need to know if a council member, for instance, is on Zoom, okay? And when on all the minutes, it shows who's in attendance, but it doesn't differentiate between Zoom and in person, okay? There's that, and nor does it, in some cases in advisories, do they keep it more detailed. But it's something that needs to be dealt with so that it's understood, because we had a situation, currently, back, with this term, and there was certainly a situation or two with the previous term of council. So it should be under the conduct type of literature that we've got, but we need to address it and come up with expectations. I know it's been bounced around at, two standing committees, each council member, and it divides up nicely if we went back to 4. And to that, and it shows that who's doing the job. People can look at a loop on the TV, but if they can go and see an attendance without having to go through all the minutes, and I'm talking the voting public, so that they've got some way of identifying, well, if nothing else, at least they're going to work. But I think we need to address that. But again, that'll be up to and with our new system, and I'm not just sure where that comes into play.
Well, first of all, I know we have a policy. It's pretty well spelled out about attendance and in all committees. So it's not that we have a policy. Maybe if we're failing in the area of policing that policy, that's another thing. And I think the mayor is the person that we need to look to when it comes to attendance. I guess some councils like to work from home, like you mentioned earlier. Maybe the staff should work from home. Maybe some of the councils would like to work from home. So, do you want to address that?
I can address a couple of things you brought up, Councillor, and then we can take some away for future consideration. So the Municipal Act is what ultimately governs us here for council members. Section 259 talks about if a council member is absent from the meetings of council, not committee, council, for 3 successive months without being authorized to do so by a resolution of council. So 3 successive months being absent is one. You'll actually see in the new year, we have a leave of absence policy coming forward for council to, so you'll see that soon. That's the Municipal Act. Our procedural bylaw asks council to notify the clerk by noon on the day of if they're participating electronically. Under our procedural bylaw, anyone participating electronically has the same rights and responsibilities as if the member was physically in attendance. That's why we don't note if they're in person or remote, and I haven't seen that in other municipalities that they make that difference, but I'm happy to take that away. for future consideration. And the committees, we've had that discussion at council before. We're going to have to wait until the next term of council to make any changes about how our committees of council look like. But if hypothetically they stay as standing committees, we'll work in some sort of clause about balancing responsibilities, whether it's saying 2 or 3, every council member must have 2 committees, standing committees and 1 advisory committee, or how that looks. It'll be up to the next term of council, but happy to take away a couple of those notes for future discussions that we have while we're planning for the next term.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Appreciate that. Go ahead.
I can't let it go. And Mayor and Reg, you were both there, and myself, that the gala on Friday night of the art gallery, the museum, and the library was a phenomenal night. Phenomenal night. It was just a really great night. Well done. My congratulations to everybody, all the team members that were involved in it, because they knocked it out of the park again. Thank you.
Okay. See no other business. Next meeting will be scheduled for February the 2nd. So that's it for today's meeting. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Have a great week. We'll see you at all the meetings.